Hey everybody, this is Perch. Let's talk about ongoing titles, some of the psychology behind them. Got a good letter here that we can read off of. It says, "Hey Perch, what's going on? What's Riley Reid up to these days?" I'm assuming Dick. Anyway, the mail continues. I have a question for you. Do you think titles not attached to any one hero are viable today? Fear, Astonishing Tales, Journey into Mystery, etc. were some of the longest ongoings we had, as well as being the series where many heroes first appeared. These seem like they'd be ideal to ship all the B and C list heroes who don't have ongoings and just have a different writer every few issues, and have publishers nudge writers into new characters first appearing in these titles. For example, let's say Marvel brought back Astonishing Tales years ago, maybe nudge Scotty Young and say, hey, write issue 37 of Astonishing Tales, introduce the Strange Academy, and from there, and then we'll spin out into a series. When enough people feel confident that the Nameless series has value, sales will get consistent on that series, as well as the series being a place where any issue could be your favorite hero's issue. You haven't seen the Spectre for a while? Here he is in House of Secrets number 23. You haven't seen the Carter Slade Ghost Rider in a while? Here he is in Astonishing Tales 34. I also think this would be a great place for classic creators like Byrne, Claremont, Simonson to get work. And something tells me, as much as some people think those guys are outdated, it'd be the issues attached to their names that sell best. I also think it would help with the modern back issue market too. It absolutely would. And stock on these books would clear the stores faster than hero named ongoings. Am I too hopeful, or do you think this would work? Not as a gimmick. That's key right there, by the way. It should be presented as an ongoing with a full expectation of going the distance and standing alongside the other titles. I absolutely think it would work, but you identified it there at the end that you absolutely cannot treat this as a gimmick. So, classic case in point, what's the X-Men book? The X-Men Legends that they're doing right now. So that book is a good idea with bad execution, and the bad execution is that the company fairly quickly said that the series doesn't matter. The very first story, the one that Brett Booth did with Hickman, it was intended to kind of fill the gaps and tell a story that no, it wasn't with Hickman. What am I saying? No, it was it Fabian? Who did the? Oh well, anyway, it was basically going to reveal the history of Adam X and how he fit into the Summer Brothers and kind of fill in that continuity, and it sold really well. Part of that's Brett Booth's art looked very dynamic, but the pitch and the concept was very good. So it was a good idea. But the problem is that the series kind of immediately went to, hey, we're going to fill in gaps in continuity, but nothing that really matters. And that's what's happened. You got pretty amazing stories by Luis and Walt Simonson. You've had a bunch of really cool creators on that book. But the problem is, the stories are not fill in the holes, as in these are holes you actually cared about being filled, but more as here's an untold tale in the history of the X-Men that doesn't really matter in the slightest, because if you don't read this, it's not gonna mean anything going forward. And that's why, and thus the title got treated more or less as a gimmick, and also as if it doesn't matter. And then Marvel being Marvel, they canceled the series and relaunched it as a number one to try and spur in sales, which goes against the last thing you said, which is you're in it for the long haul. Now, this idea that you have is really good, because what's one thing Marvel has started doing, and DC for that matter, that is a clue as to what they know this is the right approach. What they've been doing is trying things like, pick up this issue of Pride, because there's going to be a short story that's going to introduce a brand new Marvel hero that will matter. This is what the Somnus, the character that's now in the Marauders. Okay, that's not a character anyone really cares about, but it is a new character. It's a character that then was going to get picked up and used elsewhere in other comics. And so the first appearance of that character, you can label as first appearance of this new character, is showing up in, I remember if it was Pride or Marvel's Voices. I don't remember where. I think it was Marvel's Voices Pride, as opposed to Pride, the issue that, anyway. Dude, I can't remember where this came about. Anyway, uh, that's what's going to sell this is if you can do a Tales to Astonish and you book it as, hey, this is going to feature, classic, not classic, actually avoid that word, characters you haven't seen in a while, setting up a brand new status quo, or introduce brand new characters by top creative teams that are then going to appear in other comics. That would be a great idea. Your idea was Scotty Young saying, introduce some characters of the Strange Academy here, and then you spin it off into its ongoing, and this series becomes the launching pad for a lot of these books. I would try and have it not as a one and done. In many cases, I try and say get a creative team to come on for 3 issues or so to kind of create a character, launch that character, have a little adventure, and then have them all be see the heroes here first. I guess that is kind of a gimmick if you describe it that way, but it's a good gimmick, and it's one that's built on value. The value to the customer, the value to the retailer is that this is a series where you're going to get new stories featuring new characters, or in some cases classic characters, and this is going to be the starting point for a bunch of new comics and new things. That's smart. That's absolutely going to sell books, and I think it is safer because you're not going to be successful with all of them. Some are going to be clunkers. So if you get one of those, not to spin it out into a regular book. If you put out a story about Somnus in this thing and nobody cares and nobody buys it because the character design sucks and the story sucks, and everybody's like, I don't care what Steve Orlando's trying to do here. The whole thing, all this sucks. Well, then maybe don't do anything with that new character, but that's okay because it's still telling audiences this is a place to come, a place that matters, and a place that is going to do some good things. That's what's going to happen. That just got passed by police. You'll know the video is in bad shape if the police, you hear the sirens, it gets louder and louder, and then I pull over and then there's pause. That's where, somebody picks me up for firebombing in Arby's. Anyway, weird thing, by the way, in Texas, there are not a lot of police out. They're busy with other things, presumably, but I rarely see somebody pulled over for a speeding ticket here. Maybe nobody cares. I don't know. Mystery. Somebody can explain that mystery to me. Anyway, all that said, I think that's it's a good idea. I think it's absolutely something that people should do. I think that it would sell well. I think that part of the value and part of the story that you have to do is that you're basically, again, you gotta prove you're in it for the long haul. So I think you need to build this entire comic differently. You need to say this is a ongoing series, and I would actually just start saying, we're an ongoing series that will last for years. Just screw it, say it, and put some good talent on there. Get some some characters that you're about to tee up into a regular series in like 6 months or so, and try it out. If this is DC, for example, and you're about to put out a Jeff Thorne Blood Syndicate book, then let Jeff Thorne write 2 issues in whatever this comic is going to be called, and introduce it there. Like, use that as the chance to kind of remind people the characters are coming, tee up the book. And the other value to that is then you avoid this trap that I think kills a lot of ongoing series, where they have to spend the first 6 issues or so kind of setting the stage for this comic. And given the rapid pace of all this stuff, you don't have 6 issues to get this stuff teed off. So just this would allow issue 1 of this ongoing series to kick right into an adventure, right into some big story, and you do not have to do the setup. I think the setup is killing off comics because the setup is often the same. The setup, I think that if you position it as a series where you're seeing the future of the Marvel or DC universe, where you're seeing kind of what our plans are every month with good creators, I think you can sell that. I think if you're putting out a bunch of new #1 ongoing titles a month and you're having to waste a bunch of time setting those series up, I don't think it works. I think a lot of people bail out. Anyway, I think it's a good idea. I think it's something that, yes, did work in the past, and it absolutely would work in the future. Anyway, That's my idea. So that's what I think would work. Sorry, this is your idea. I'm telling you your idea would work. That's my thought on your idea. There you go. But what do you think? Let me know what you think of this idea. Would it sell? Would you buy it? What would need to happen to this title to get you to part with your money? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for writing in, and thanks for listening.